Hey guys, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Black Horse Epic running boards on this 2020 Ram 2500 crew cab. For this installation, we'll be using the included Allen wrench, plus I'm going to use a 13mm wrench and a Phillips head screwdriver. Well, make sure you're subscribed to our channel to stay up to date with all of our latest content. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now this particular truck has hexagon-shaped holes. Other configurations will include sometimes some threaded holes. If you have threaded holes, you've got hardware to fill those threaded holes. If you do not have the threaded holes like this is actually a little bit more difficult in doing that. So I'm glad I've got this for you to show you how this works. So here is our bolt plate that's got a welded nut on it. What we're going to do is take one of our bolts and thread it into that welded nut temporarily. Next, we're going to take that bolt plate and run it into the oval hole. Now once we have it in the oval hole all the way in, we're going to take and bring that bolt out the bottom of the rocker panel in that one of those hexagon-shaped holes. Once that is in place, we're going to take one of our plastic retainer and thread it onto that bolt. This just keeps the bolt from falling down into the rocker panel while we're working on stuff. Next, we're going to remove this bolt that we have in there temporarily. That will allow that hole to drop down in here. Now we don't need to line it up just yet. We're just going to let this sit in place. We've got a retainer keeping that falling in. Okay, now we're going to locate our driver's side front bracket. Now all of our driver's side brackets are going to be mirror image of the coordinating passenger side bracket, so keep that in mind when you do the passenger side. Driver's side front, you're going to have two gaps at the point where it touches the pinch weld. Also, this portion that touches the rocker panel and the foot that touches the running board will be flagged towards the front of the truck. So what we're going to do is line this oval hole up to our bolt that's hanging out. Then we're going to take and rotate that bolt plate up so that our threaded hole lines up to the hole in the bracket and the hole in the truck. Now I'm going to take the bolt that I used earlier. I've also got a lock washer and flat washer on that. I'm going to go ahead and thread that by hand into the bracket, through the bracket into the bolt plate and that welded nut. All right, now I'm going to turn to this one and install a flat washer, lock washer, and nut. Again, we're just putting this stuff on finger tight for right now. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to these two slots. Now, as you can see, they're lined up to a couple of holes. Now, if your truck was built before 2014, you may not have these holes. If you don't have the holes, you're going to need to mark these two locations and drill them out with a 1/4-inch drill bit. But everything 2014 past has those holes there. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to find in our kit, this is one of our bolts. It's got an Allen head on it. We're going to take and drop a washer on that, bring that bolt through. Now on this side, we've got this spacer bracket that's going to slide over top. We're going to take another washer along with a serrated flange nut and attach that finger tight. And for our next hole, we're going to use another one of our Allen bolts with washer. Go through that. Put the washer on that along with the serrated flange nut. Again, we're just getting this finger tight for right now so we can get this all positioned. All right, next what we're going to do is push up on the bracket. So it's pushing all the way up against the bottom of the rocker panel. And then we're going to take our included Allen wrench and go into that Allen bolt and tighten that down. That serrated flange nut will start to bite down into the washer. You don't have to worry about it spinning. All right, so once we have the pinch weld tightened down, we're going to go ahead and use a 13mm and tighten down this bolt and the nut next to it. All right, next we're going to install our bracket covers. Now, if you look at the bracket cover, you've got a long end on this side and a short end on this side. The long end faces up. What we're going to do is line up these holes in the bracket cover to these holes in the bracket. Once those are lined up, we've got some plastic push pins. They go through and fasten them together. All right, now we can go ahead and flex that bracket cover to the side and fit in a Phillips head screwdriver and tighten down the fasteners. Okay, now your rear bracket is a mirror image of this front bracket, but it will install the exact same way. All right, now moving back to about the center of the vehicle, kind of close to where our second body mount bolt is, we've got our center bracket location. Again, we've got the oval hole at the top and the 2 holes down below, as well as 2 pinch weld holes. Now, our center bracket is going to look just like this. It's going to flag towards the front, just like it did on the front. The passenger side bracket is going to be our mirror image of this. This bracket is going to install exactly like the first bracket, except we only have 1 location for a pinch weld bolt instead of 2. Okay, now we're going to take our running board and we're going to flip it upside down so we can expose the 2 tracks that are on the bottom of the board. Now, if you follow the tracks all the way to either end, you're going to see some openings at the end. What we're going to do is use those openings to install the square head screws in our kit. The square head drops into the opening, and we're going to install 3 screws per track. All right, now once we have those in place, I like to go ahead and just kind of evenly space them on the board. Now we can take the board to the brackets. Okay, I've already gone ahead and put the running board on top of the brackets. We're here at the rear bracket. Everything we do at the rear bracket, we're going to do at the other brackets as well. So what we're going to do is lift up the board a little bit, slide the bolts to where it lines up to the holes in the bracket and set it back down. Once all 3 brackets are lined up to the bolts, we're going to take a flat washer, lock washer, and nut and install them onto the bottom of the boards through the bolts. We are not going to tighten them down just yet. All right, once we've got all 3 brackets loosely installed, we can actually shift the board forward and backward, in and out, and get it centered exactly where we want it towards the vehicle and back and forth, centered front and back. Once we do that, we can go ahead and tighten down these bolts with a 13mm. Okay, now we can just repeat the exact same steps on the passenger side. Keep in mind, our passenger side brackets are going to be an exact mirror image of the coordinating brackets on the driver's side. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give us a thumbs up and let us know what you think about the board in the comments below. If you want more information, make sure you click the link in the description, and we'll see you next time.